The Good Life by Nicholas Vrekar. On the outside, the mall store looked like a tourist agency. Large panes of glass that gave view to the narrow but deep interior. TV monitors presenting people smiling in their various utopias. There was a set of automatic double doors beneath a sign that read, "The Before After." The doors opened as Charles approached, and he stepped inside. There were more televisions inside, but in here each set played the same video. There was a counter in the back of the room. A blonde woman was leaning against the countertop, tapping a touchscreen. She looked up from the screen and said, "Take a look around, but stop by if you have questions." Charles tried a smile and a nod. She smiled and turned back to the screen. He walked slowly through the shop, his eyes shifting from one television to the next. There was an image of a beach, the waves gently lapping against the shore. A woman in a thin bathing suit looked off to the water. The wind blew her hair to the side, revealing a green light that pulsed beneath her skin behind her ear. A voiceover said, "Imagine this moment. Capture this moment. Frame it in your mind. The perfect solitude, an eternity in peace. You deserve all of this. You deserve the good life. It might not be right now, but we can guarantee you will have a good life in that eternal moment right before the after." The image changed to a city, its tall buildings like mirrors to the morning sun. He stood and watched as the sun rose, its reflection shifting across the glass. As it set in the distance, the lights of the city turned on, and the night was aglow in bright neon. The woman said, "Do you live in the city?" "Not this part." "Where do you live?" "A condo in South Upton." "You own?" I don't have much, but it's part of the little that I have." "Of course." He didn't turn from the TV when he asked, "How does this work? What is the cost?" She stepped back around the counter. "Nothing you'll take with you. My name's Naomi, and you are?" "I'm Charles." "Nice to meet you." "Charles, are you a religious man?" "Not really." "What do you think happens after you die? Have you lived a good life, the kind free of guilt? Do you have any regrets? Do you think you will rest in peace?" He shrugged. "I don't know. I've made mistakes." She shook her head. "I don't know either. And the before-after can't guarantee what awaits you will be the good afterlife, but we can, at least, give you an almost eternal moment where all your problems will fade away and you can slip away into whatever comes next with a clear conscience." "You mean death?" "And the hereafter." He asked, "How does it work?" She said, "Well, we install it, and by we, I mean specialists with degrees in this sort of thing. They install a chip in your head. It mostly checks your heart rate and brain function. If the latter fails first and the chip doesn't work, and your contract is void. If the former fails first, once you flatline, the chip will turn on, and in your mind, you will live out your personal utopia. While I die, before you pass on." He asked, "What if my heart stops, but someone brings me back? Gets it beating again?" She said, "Then you'll step away from your utopia. It'll be there when you need it again." "Once my heart stops, that can't be for very long, though." "Time is relative. A few seconds will give you what will feel like hundreds of years in our custom-built simulations." Charles asked, "Just me and—" "The AI populates some of it, your mind the rest." "Isn't that just a dream? Does it matter how real your last moments are, as much as it feels?" "How much does it cost?" Naomi said, "You mentioned owning your condo. I can set you up with one of our accountants, and they can go over your assets and figure out the math with you, but I have no doubt you'll be ready to enjoy the good life when it's time." Charles asked, "When can I schedule an appointment?" She smiled and said, "Let me see what's available." She turned to the touch screen and pushed her hair back, and for a moment, he could see a green light beneath her skin before her hair fell back into place. He left the mall behind and drove past stores and homes and apartment complexes and warehouses. And as he drove, there were more homes foreclosed, more stores boarded up, more warehouses abandoned. He parked his car in his personal compartment in the parking garage and locked it up, and quickly walked the narrow halls that led to his cramped space on the 47th floor. A one-bedroom condo that was barely more than 100 square feet. When he turned on the lights, he could see the mail he had left on the table. Most of the letters were bills. He knew it without opening them, and he was sure he could pay at least half of them on time. He locked the door and sat in front of his TV and turned it on. On the screen there was the image of an old man in a hospital bed, and behind him the cardiac display flatlined, accompanied by a single long tone. There was a green glow beneath his ear, and a soft smile on his face. The end.